Yeah. Let me flick up something quick. Let me flip up something quick. Yeah, it's my man right here, Naruto. Um, basically, what I'm talking about here today is basically 100 things that he could have done in in the fourth great ninja war and making things better and you know within the ninja war and after the ninja war. And surprised a lot of y'all ain't even talking about this. Like the use of his clones directly to protect like each allied division simultaneously. I think it wasn't carried out um, to the best of his abilities. Remember, this is a guy that can make millions of clones. And you're telling me that to each division, he only sent one clone? Only one clone. That's what Naruto sent to each division. Yes, we understand. One clone is all it needs. But pay attention. At a few of the divisions, one clone wasn't even enough. Let's say for when he was going up against Madara. In that first part when he was going up against Madara with with the Kages. He was going up against Madara, him and the Kages, and there were no match. They were trying, there were no match. If you're a true Naruto fan, you would remember that. Then he took their words for it and say, they can handle it. Say they don't need his help. They okay. I'm not one to blame, but that's just one thing I saw that messed them up. I mean, you can't take their words for it. They're old. I ain't even pronouncing it right. I can't even pronounce it right. The Woman Kage, Tsunade, none of them were in top form. Yeah, Tsunade was strong. Rikage was fast, and you know, all that. The next thing that I observe is that um, within the fights where he sent the thing to help the Kages in their fight, um, enough strategical thinking wasn't done. Enough strategical thinking wasn't done, and that's one of the things that led to the downfall. That's one of the things that led to him losing. Um, for example, he didn't have enough information, and you're telling me that everybody's fighting, everybody's fighting, and you're fighting someone from your land, and you don't have information on how he was defeated and how it's easy to take him down. Like for example, they were going up against the first Reikage, and Naruto had to think out of the box. Naruto had to figure it out himself. At one point, he was asking the Eight Tail, how did he defeat him? The Eight Tail says he wasn't the one that gave him that scar. So Naruto had to figure it out himself and say, that was got a kind of good right plot right there. But he had to figure it out himself and say, maybe he injured himself. The next thing I had a problem with was teleporting the allies, with the flying Raijin, using his six powers, connected to Minato. Um, for that section, I would say they only use that power to take them out of harm's way. But why couldn't they use that power, that six path teleportation power, and that flying Raijin to actually counter strike, to make some attacks? Have someone be far out, charging up a very powerful attack, and then teleport that person directly forefront to the enemy, directly at Obito. So I don't know, maybe you could charge up 100 fire style jutsus and then send them directly at well, at that time they didn't know they were marked with Obito, but I'm pretty sure that Minato could have, teleport somewhere close by, with his kunai thingies, place a mark on the Ten Tails. My guys just charge up some really massive powers and just blast that thing. They weren't thinking. So He could have enhanced the entire Allied Ninja force with his six path chakra. Like when I say enhance, everybody was in like one tail B state. Why didn't he step them up to two tail B state? We saw what Hinata do with a gentle fist. You know, that was something. That was something. But that was just one tail B state. Remember, he could go up to nine, you know, and then transformation. So I think he should have done something there, you know what I mean? Um, so a next thing that I found out that I really didn't like in the Naruto series was that sealing Madara moment has begun when he was absorbing the tree, you know. So they should have sealed Madara at the moment he tried to absorb the tree. A lot of the big guns, if I were to say it that way, they were far out. Shikamaru with his brain, they were far out. They were far from the battle. I seen even Toby, the white Zetsu guy, Toby, keeping a lot of them. Even the professor, they say the professor is supposed to know 100,000 million jutsu. Supposed to know all the jutsu of Konoha, except wood style, wood release. Yet still, he was far out and couldn't even pass a guy, a Zetsu clone that was doing wood release, that was controlling the Senju Pyramid of a Thousand Arms. Why couldn't he defeated that? Why couldn't the third Okage pass that? Why he had took Orochimaru and his team to pass that? So you know, I see that as a problem there. You know, it's just poor writing, poor writing. And I'm telling you, I'm a big Naruto fan, but One Piece was written way better by far. So that's just one thing that I saw was like a big problem to me. You know, moving on. Coordination, like coordinating with Sasuke's earlier instead of arguing mid battle. You know, that was just to itself self-explanatory. I don't need to go in detail for that. Um, Using Truth Seeker balls or orbs to immobilize Obito before he became the ten-tailed Jinchuriki. Come on, why not? What were they thinking? Why didn't they do that? You know, that's just one of my problems. I don't see that. You know, and why? What? Come on, man. The show is called Naruto, and they always have people that are less powerful, less impressive, with more impressive feats. Way more impressive feats. I was thinking that by the time Naruto reached teenager age, he would have, you know, fewer goofy ambitions, fewer goofy actions being done, and he would be more serious. Like they showed us in the Pain arc, they showed us like Jiraiya imagining what he was like what he wrote in his book of what Naruto would be like. Naruto was the star of his novel. Why didn't they give us that version of Naruto? You know, I'm just saying they could have gave us that version of Naruto. So that's just one thing that I saw. You know, I didn't really like. So why didn't they also like devise a sealing plan with Shikamaru using shadow possession and six path sealing energy? See, I just mentioned something like that. I just mentioned something like that. And if y'all don't know, I took the time out to write these down. You know, so yeah, they're gonna overlaps. They're gonna overlaps. I wrote down like 100 things that I didn't like. So as you can see in the thing. So another thing, in terms of power usage, power ability and usage, I would say like combine Kurama's chakra cloak with six path Senju for max defense. Yeah, they were lacking in the defense area because I saw a lot of stuff that was, you know, hard to believe. Madara at the time didn't even have any eyes, and I see him rush Naruto, boom. one punch, like he's One Punch Man. And when he do that, I see Naruto flying. So you're telling me when he was training with Kakashi and he got hit and a clone appeared and he was using the clones to make the fight more interesting. You're telling me that he went from a 10 to a 5 and from a 5 to a 2, from a 2 to none. What's up with that writing? What's up with all that? Hmm? So next thing that found out in the Naruto thing that I didn't like was that using the tail beast bombs, he didn't do it often. You seen the destructive power of that thing. What he should have done, told the allied ninja forces, get back. I'ma blow this thing up. Charge up some chakra. Aim it at the 10 tails. Put some six path power in it. You know, I'm not saying Naruto is a thing that is all about throwing wild punches, but at times in a fight you gotta throw some wild punches. Worse if you know what works. If you know that you're fighting an opponent, and he ain't good at like his left side is damaged, are you gonna throw punches at the right side? No, you're gonna throw punches at the left side. You know, the ten tails is weak. The ten tail is weak against nature energy, and they didn't exploit that enough. I'm not saying they should have killed the ten tail, but they should have infused a lot of chakra in some tail beast bombs. Throw it at that thing. Throw it at that thing. They have two persons that can teleport. Two persons that can teleport real good, and make sure that the direct hit is a thing. You have two persons, Tobirama and Minato Namikaze. Am I the only one seeing what I'm seeing? Am I the only one that have sense? You know, they wrote their story, but they could have done it better. Um, the Benju size Rasengan with all nature chakra, that would have been a cool thing too. Because we saw what Jiraiya did when he was fighting pain. I could bet if Jiraiya was still alive and was fighting in the Fourth Great Ninja War, he would have done a way better job. He would have come, devised a plan. We saying Kakashi this, Kakashi that. Kakashi might I even want to say it. I'm on YouTube. A lot of people gonna go and say they're Kakashi fans. Kakashi didn't do enough. He was just standing still. Naruto and Sasuke should have even tried to collect at least four of them people from their generation to assist in the fight. For example, they're going up against the Rabbit Goddess. You know, and these are a part of my 100 things that I didn't like. Why didn't they snatch up Gaara? You know, you're linked to all of them through Kurama Chakra. Why didn't Minato show him the technique within their psyche? So, yo, this is how we do Flying Raijin, son. This is how we do it. Why didn't he show him? I have a problem right there. Show them the technique. Let him learn this stuff. It's going to be beneficial. His inheritance. But in that case, when Madara shoot them things in the sky and awaken his third eye, wrap everybody up, he could have simply just because he's linked to everybody. I think he's linked to Gaara too. I'm not sure if Gaara got any of them cloaks. Instantly, like, charge him up, like let the power come out of everybody again, teleport him right to his spot. So he would have had Gaara for transportation. You know, cause remember in when Kaguya teleported them to the flame dimension, at first they were falling. With Gaara there, they wouldn't be falling at all. Obito wouldn't be stuck against the wall where Kunai threw his hand. You know what I mean? So I'm getting good point here. And they could use Gaara's sand as a diversion. She can't absorb sand. She can absorb the chakra within the sand. You know, which in that case she would be trying to dodge that sand, if not trying to shield that sand. That sand could have been used to create an opening. That's what I'm trying to say. I ain't trying to say much. Gara's sand could have been used to create an opening. The next person they could have pulled in, Lee. He's got speed, he's got technique. We saw what Guy could do. We're not seeing enough of what Lee could do. You know, when I was younger watching Shohin Jump Naruto, that's before Shippuden, we saw Lee do a lot of things, but not enough. They're making my Lee, they're making my man Lee, they're pushing him under the rug. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Another person they could have recruited is Hinata. Gentle fist, boom. You know, yeah. Nobody there had Byakugan. You're telling me the Byakugan couldn't come in handy? Another person they could have, because I'm just going to list 4 person I think they should have had there with them fighting Kaguya. So Hinata, Lee, Gara, and finally Shino. Shino, they say, never lost a fight and is the perfect thing for assassination. Everything they do up to now could have been helped if Shino was there. Put one of them parasitic insects in the woman. Immobilize her. I'm not trying to say he should use the insect to eat chakra, because that woman has infinite chakra. It would seem. It would seem. Because at one point when they were traveling through dimensions, Black Zetsu said, Mom, we need to go back to whatever dimension and refurbish her chakra. So the god of all chakra, see, they created a being that's supposed to be with infinite chakra, and she ran out of chakra, it would seem, at one point. That's just boast. So I'm kind of straying from the topic there when I say things that Naruto should have done. So yeah, back to it. Naruto should have had Shino. Put a bug on her, immobilize her, at least immobilize Zetsu. The first priority was to take out Black Zetsu. He was the one that was performing the strategies. They could have heard him. They could have heard everything he was saying to his mother, Rabbit Goddess. Even the Sage of Six Path knew that he had a brother. That Black Zetsu was a manifestation of Kaguya. Another thing, you know, it's 100 things. I may not go to 100. You know, so magnet and lava releases, they could have used that. Oh, so it's still intertwined with what I was saying with Gara being on the team. Damn. Combined 6-path power with 8 guy with Mike guy 8 in the gate for one-time strike. That would have been really effective. That would have been really, really effective. 6-path power with 8 inner gates. And that's a funny thing. This whole time we've been seeing Guy in the video game and in everything, he was saying dynamic entry. That move that he made on the Rabbit Goddess, I believe that was the dynamic entry, you know. That was that same dynamic entry. You know, it is what it is, man. We could have been doing more. We could have been seeing more. I don't know, man. I don't know. Oh. Okay, you know what? That's just it for today, man. That's just it for today. That's it for today. I'm not getting a good turnout.